We're here to talk about Bill C-2, the path to a police state. Maybe, John, if you could just kind of like fill people in on why that looks like it might be a path to a police state here in Canada.
So Bill C-2 has provisions in it to criminalize the use of cash, to allow Canada Post to open mail, for customs officials to inspect goods destined for export anywhere in Canada, regardless of where they're located, and warrantless searches by police of premises, and legal obligation for anybody who uses a computer is now designated an electronic services provider and has to give access to their software to government officials without a warrant. It's just, it's over 100 pages long. I haven't even been able to read all of it yet, but it's just frightening, and it's a big step towards Canada becoming a police state.
And when we say computer, that also includes your cell phone, I take it then, because your phone is basically a computer as well. And that's, I think, most people believe their cell phone is like, I think they'd give up their clothing and their money before they want to give up their cell phone. And I think for a lot of people, there's a lot of personal stuff on that cell phone.
Well, and the government's not asking you to give up your cell phone. The government's, if this legislation passes and comes into force, the government's saying that government officials will have access to it, easy and ready access without a warrant. And the way that our law enforcement has been working for the 158 years of Canadian history and even centuries prior is that the government was required to respect our privacy rights, and that could be violated only if police on reasonable and probable grounds suspects that somebody is involved in criminal activity, and then they have to go to court and get a search warrant, and they can violate the privacy of that one individual who is a suspect, and then they can, bust into their home or, tap their phone. They can do all kinds of stuff, but it's very narrow, and the police have to go to court to get a search warrant that applies to one individual or maybe a group or an organization, a criminal organization. Everybody else's privacy rights are respected. Bill C-2 repudiates 158 years of Canadian tradition by giving Canada Post the right to open mail, criminalizing cash, and then these warrantless searches that Canadians have to comply with, because it's worded so broadly that pretty much every Canadian using a cell phone is an electronic services provider. This is not restricted to the big giants like Rogers or TELUS or Google and so on.
Yeah, this was pitched as the Strong Borders Act, but obviously it seems to have tentacles that run past just crossing into Canada.
So much of the bill, there is a section of the bill that does make changes to the laws pertaining to refugees and the process by which refugees apply for refugee status, and that they have to do so quickly upon entering the country. There are a lot of changes that pertain to the borders. That is maybe 1/5 of the bill, or a third of the bill. But the other 2/3 of the bill go into just this massive attack on our longstanding privacy rights. So I call the Strong Borders Act, I call it the Strong Surveillance Act, because it gives these powers for warrantless searches and for government officials to have access without a warrant to the computers and cell phones of Canadians. It's very, very serious.